Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm recording this for you on the solstice. So happy solstice. Happy solstice, everybody. And this is a little bit of an astrological overview of this week and some of the astrology that's occurring. So we have natural dynamics that are playing out this week, and they're worthy of mention. So I'm going to go back actually. So let's start with talking about the 19th. So on Sunday the 19th, we had Venus going retrograde and Chiron going direct. They both occurred in the morning time, Eastern time. So I'm going to pull up those charts because I want to show you. Let's start with Venus retrograde. Okay. So at the time that Venus went retrograde, you can see that obviously it's conjunct Pluto. It's in Capricorn. At the time of retrograde, the sun was at 27 degrees Sagittarius, and the moon had just entered Cancer. And this is kind of what I wanted to chat about here. And of course, during this whole week, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but you can see that at the point of retrograde, Saturn, which is now going direct, is in square, almost an exact square, 10 degrees, 11 degrees, with Uranus. Throughout the entirety of this week, throughout the entirety of 2021, we've had this activated. But we're going to have it exact at 11:11 coming up on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, the 22nd of December. But at this point of Venus retrograde, we have the square activated at the sun in Sag, the moon in Cancer. So let's talk a little bit about the moon, because the signature of the retrograded Venus process is really keyed into issues of home, family, feeling nurtured, feeling protected, feeling safe, feeling like you have a foundation under your feet. But it comes down to nurturance. It also comes down to what has meaning and what matters to you personally. So there is this activation, which we've talked about a little bit before, with Venus conjunct Pluto. There is a transformation with all things Venusian that's going to be activated for the next, 5-6 weeks. It's going to be Venus is going to be retrograde up until I think it's the 29th of January. So we have virtually the entire month of January. The whole entrance into 2022 is signatured with this Venus retrograde process. So everything Venusian is being, number one, transformed naturally. It either wants to be transformed and you're aware of it, or you want it to be transformed, but it's unconscious and you're not aware of it. But everything Venusian wants to change. Your relationships with women, your relationships with money, your relationships, or how you relate to people. How are you relating? How are you showing love, affection, etc.? And because the moon is encoded with this Cancerian archetype, it really has a lot to do with mother. There's a lot to do with mother issues. So it's either the death of mother that's already occurred, the transition of mother that might be occurring in this next 6-week cycle, memories. There can be a lot of old stuff coming up here. Wound signatures, patterning, past events, memory, there's always heavy duty baggage / information that's held within the psyche. For all of us, it has to do with Venusian things in our life. So this can refer to mother, and it can refer to the love of mother. So this might be coming up. Now, again, this is kind of the signature of this process that we're going to be in. The moon obviously is moving, but the signature is Cancerian. So how do we value where we're living? What is it that we love and like about our home or our foundation or our place or our sense of security? So there can be this kind of deep level of reflection with regards to, over this next 5-6 weeks, there can be a level of deep reflection about what are we going to do financially? What are we going to do moving forward in relationships? There's a there's a reflection aspect activated, and that's exacerbated by the moon in Cancer, because this is also reflective of childhood and the past in general, including, other life streams, memory signatures in the family ancestry line, the genetic line. So there's a lot of the past that's evoking a revaluation process. That's what's happening, okay? So I wanted to point that out. Then, if we go ahead and take a look at Chiron direct, which happened right after, we still have that sun in Sagittarius. It's at that 27th degree, but right at the very end, which is kind of interesting. But it's still in 27. You can see obviously that the moon, because this was just a matter of, 6 hours. So we have that moon in Cancer still. So again, as Chiron is moving now direct in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, Mars is up here with that south node. This can be old behaviors or beliefs about behaviors that need to be released that are no longer appropriate. Chiron now moving forward as there's a deep recalibration of your value system, how you love yourself, how you love others, your relationship with money, your relationship with women, everything. Your relationship with creativity, beauty, your relationship with nature, and things, possessions, what you have, etc. This movement going forward is kind of interesting because the forward movement can bring about old skill sets as it relates to your Jupiterian archetypal signature, the wisdom that you have, taking action on the wisdom that you have, bringing it out with a sense of new confidence, that can be activated. Now, for some people, what can be activated as well as old behaviors. If there wasn't an appropriate internalized healing and deep work that was to be done with the Chiron retrograde that we've just come out of, then some people, some individuals that haven't done the internal work are going to express outwardly a lot of old patterns that haven't really been recognized or owned, taken accountability for, etc. So very interesting. So again, as this Chiron is moving forward, for those that have done the work, there's a new level of alignment with what they love, what matters to them, what has value to them, what has meaning, what feels good, what is desired, how you're seeking nurturance. Because the other thing with the Venus process, let's pull that back up again, is where are you as an individual? Where are you seeking love? Where are you seeking to be nurtured? The Venus retrograde is thinking about, there's memories coming up, there's old patterns, there's wound patterns with regards to recognizing where is it that we seek to be loved. So there's deep work here to be done. And the truth of the matter is the moon is quincunxing this conjunction. So there's this uncomfortable relationship with regards to how I want to be loved and where I think I should have been loved, because again, there's this relationship to the retrograded Venus and the direct Chiron, which is evoking old belief structures of action. How have I thought it was appropriate to act? What was I taught as a woman? What was I taught as a man? What was I taught that was correct behavior? So there's this whole thing about where we seek love and what is really appropriate for your sense of self-worth and really pursuing a life of meaning for you that is self-loving and self-valuing and self-empowering. Okay. So again, with the moon here, there's a square. That Chiron moving direct is squaring that moon. So the signature for Chiron direct is square. So there's a tension here between, okay, how is it that I want to express a mastery of self, a new healed version of self, a new iteration of self? And how does that match with what really has meaning for me? So again, this also, the Venus Pluto retrograde in Capricorn also definitively has to do with a recalibration of career. So for a lot of people that haven't already changed their career, because people have been doing it in droves throughout 2021, this is a redirect. This is making money in a different way. It's doing a different career. It's doing what you value. But there's a little bit of tension here. It's like, well, if I come out as a new version of self here, somewhat healed and willing to be a master at something that I'm good at or prolific at, there's a bit of tension here about, well, will I be secure? There's a question here about, will I be okay? Will I be secure if I change my job, if I change my career? So these are definitively coming up. Now, in addition to that, we have the solstice chart. So the solstice is occurring today. I'm recording this on the solstice. So the solstice point, or the point where the sun moves into Capricorn, is happening Eastern time today at 11:59. So 11 a.m. essentially. I'm recording this at almost 10. So it's happening soon. And this is the chart for that point. I don't know why, but I find it interesting that we had the signatures for the other charts, Venus retrograde, Chiron direct, with a 27-degree sun in Sag. Here, with the solstice point, we have a 27-degree moon. So let's talk about 2 and 7. Dragon. With regards to the 2 and 7, of course, we have 2, 7, and 9. 2 is relationships, your relationships to others, your relationships to your thoughts, your relationships to your past, your relationships to your emotions, your feelings, your needs. These are your relationships to your environment, your relationships to your family, everything, right? So this is relationships. 7 is the great unknown, like the great mysteries, spirituality or consciousness is 7. There's a level of mystery in it. It's like we're here embodied, but we operate according to consciousness organizing principles here. Nature does, physicality does, because we are all consciousness, but there is the mystery there's always a level of mystery in the physical embodied life. And 9 is, of course, learning those lessons. It's spiritual assimilated learnings. It's the wise one within. It's also humanitarian efforts, which might also be included in the bigger narrative of what we're playing out here. But we have a 27 moon. It is still in Cancer. So as we enter into the solstice period, in the northern hemisphere, here we are in the winter solstice point. So the longest night, the shortest day, this is a natural time to go deep within, to have all of your energy and your juice go down into the roots, which is so appropriate with this moon in Cancer, because this is the archetype of your root system. So moving into your roots, living according to your roots, aligning with the root of who you are. This is the name of the game. So there's a lot of reflection at this time. And as we hit this solstice point, the sun in Capricorn is also met with the Mercury at 12-degree Capricorn point and Pluto and Venus here in Capricorn. So there's a lot of functionality that is happening with regards to life path, movement forward, career, work, public engagement, lifestyle. What is the life that you want to be living? What are your goals and aspirations for you as an individual, distinct entity? Okay, so a lot of focus on, literally focus, right? Saturn ruled Cap. This is about focusing on direction. And so there's a lot of revaluation on direction, not just career, but life direction. What is the picture of your life that you're wanting to bring forward? You can see here too that Mercury is trining almost exactly that Uranus. So the mind is having the ability to identify the mutations, the up-leveling, the evolution required with regards to your security, your money, your possessions, your things, your value. How is it that you value yourself, and how is it that you can live a successful life? Success in quotes, because that's going to be different for all of you. And there's also evolution to be had with regards to the narrative of what is success and what is failure. But the mind is able to tap in to ideas, to revelations, to sparks of insight as it relates to safety, security, abundance, and comfort. The life of worth, the life of value, the life that ethically matches who you are as a person. So this is activated during this solstice point. And, this is like the seeded storyline for the next year ahead, because we're starting a new year with this solstice. Let's see what else to look at here. See, the other thing to point out is that Saturn is virtually exactly sextiling that now direct Chiron. So there's this ability to, and this is a direct Saturn now. So we have direct Saturn sextiling direct Chiron. There's possibly an ability now, a new capacity that you feel that you're able to step up and be accountable and responsible and do your part, do your role as a participant in the human family, and heed the call to heal what needs to be healed, or to step up and teach what needs to be taught, to do something, to use your mastery, your level of mastery, in a way that's going to benefit the collective. So this is also activated here. Beautiful. Now, next, what I'd like to talk about here is the exact square. So as of the 23rd, or Thursday of this month of December, we are moving back into another square, exact square, with regards to Uranus and Saturn. And this is at 11. So there's a level of, and this is, of course, a retrograded Uranus with a direct Saturn. So we'll talk about that. So this is happening throughout this week, everybody. So I think it's happening. Let's look at the days. It's happening through Christmas. So this is Thursday. Here we are Friday, it's 11/11, Saturday 11/11, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to have it exact through next Tuesday. All right, so let's go back to today, or Thursday, the 23rd. So Thursday through Tuesday, this is going to be this exact 11 degrees. So 11, this is a double one equaling 2. So this is about kind of individual enlightenment and awareness, present moment orientation. It's a level of evolution that an individual can step up into. It's a level of, taking your worth and your value and what your experiences and your skill sets, and, bringing them out. There can be a pressure, to do that, right? A pressure of letting your inner skill set come out and impact the collective. A lot of people have been throughout 2021 feeling an internalized pressure at a new level. So there's more pressure this week, pressure to be enlightened, right? So there's a lot of internal pressure here, which, by the way, isn't necessarily, it's what's naturally happening. That pressure is happening within. I need to become free. That's a pressure here. I need to be free. I need to be independent. I need to be self-sustaining. I need to be my own individual. And there's a pressure with the square that the collective human experience is not letting me. There's limits, so I'm not able to be myself. That's been this pressure in that regard. But there's another pressure, and that other pressure has to do with I have value to bring, and I need to bring it forward, and there's limits out here, some sort of limit, right? Whatever that limit is, because there's obviously the pandemic set of limits, and the authoritarian rise limits that are coming about, but there's other limits too. There can be limits that you're perceiving about the group or the community or the environment that you're living within that won't allow your freedom, right? These can be internalized narratives that you hold that are going to be specific. Each one of you holds kind of a specific combination of storylines that's going to activate a particular wound and a particular block and possibly a particular self-sabotage pattern. But there is a pressure. And so this week, as we close out 2021, there's another level of pressure, both collectively, so feeling the limit of the external community and how it's impacting your desire for freedom and individual expression, and to have comforts. This is also this kind of desire to live a life that's more aligned with a value system that is correct for you. But it can also talk about, especially with the retrograde Uranus, this can talk about a frustration with comforts not being able to be received. In other words, for example, ships stuck in docks, not allowing you to get the product that you've ordered, for example, or the food even, right? So there can be these kind of harsh lessons that we're learning on the collective scale that will block the ability to experience a level of comfort that we as individuals want to experience. Whether it has to do with products or food, particular foods that you like to get, maybe you're not able to get them, or the restaurant shut down, right? This kind of thing. The hours of the businesses shut down. That's what's happening. But it's definitively happening, everybody, this week. So that's activated. Let's see what else is the signature, though. See, this is the other thing, that when the beginning of the exact 11-degree square occurs, we have the moon in Leo. And that moon is opposing Saturn. That moon is squaring Uranus. So there's this kind of I want what I want internal narrative that can play out. It's like I'm entitled. I'm entitled to get what I want, and I don't want to be blocked, and I'm feeling frustrated here because there's lots to gain or do or money to make or whatever it is. But there's certain blocks. The group isn't buying, or the thing isn't able to be received, or the restaurant is closed, or whatever it is, right? So there's these aspects here of the internal self. It can operate from a narcissistic, entitled perspective. So for some people, over the course of this, Thursday through Tuesday process of this exact square and beyond, by the way, because this exactitude of the moon is really the signature for this 5-day process. But the square is still activated for a little bit. We're going to ease out of it, though, in 2022, which is great. But yeah, there's this level of I want what I want when I want it. I'm entitled to get it. I have needs, I have wants, I have desires. I want to have fun. I want to play. There's this whole thing about the individual is king. And the individual as king is feeling a little frustrated that there's limits. But the truth of the matter is, this is what the big boys and girls do. We put on our big boy and girl pants, and we understand that there's a bigger narrative playing out. And so there's a need here with this square to evolve, to mature. And so there's a need to step up and emotionally mature during this week. So taking a breath, going within, slowing down, really kind of observing, stepping up into a mature, observant, witnessed perspective with regards to the collective. What are the patterns playing out in the collective? How is it that I can evolve myself through what's happening on the collective level here? How is it that I am to mature my creative call, my creative essence within? That's the growth edge with this T-square. It's like I can play a role in the collective that is having some issues, and I can feel the internal pressure and bring it out into creative works or skill sets, your skills, gifts, and talents that are here to meet what's happening on the collective, right? So Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. The point of this square, exact square, is also meeting a 1 degree Capricorn sun ruled by Saturn. So indeed, there's an aspect of the individual that feels this pressure. It's like it's a 1 degree sun in Cap. It has new ideas, new aspirations, new goals, new ideas for work, career, life path. And there's a pressure inherent in that identity, the new cycle of identity. So for this next month ahead, really, because the solstice is kind of meeting with this square formation, there is a pressure. There is a review and a reflection on money, career, path, value system, ethos, survivability, living with comforts, or living maybe without some comforts. Maybe there's an ability for the individual here to go without in order to save money, for example, right? There can be a pulling back on spending money with this particular configuration here. So there's a lot of juice happening, everybody. Very exciting. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to send you lots of love for your solstice today. I hope you have wonderful celebrations, are able to connect with nature in some wonderful way. We finally have snow here, so we are going to have a fully snowy holiday week, which is wonderful and delightful. And yeah, I'm sending you lots of love too for your holiday week, for those of you that celebrate Christmas, etc. And I'll talk to you soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.